Danny, just how important was it to get a win on the board at the weekend?
It was massively important, yeah, massively important, Rob. I think if you'd said before to everyone after 2 defeats that it wasn't a fantastic spectacle, but you win 1-0, I think we would have taken it. But I think it's important we learn our lessons from the performance, regardless of the result, because I think tomorrow will be a different type of game. Big crowd, local derby, and we've got to make sure the performance matches the result.
Wanted to ask you about the goal. I imagine from your position, you had a good view of that, and it was a special goal to win it, wasn't it?
It is. It's always the same, you know. If when players have those long range efforts and they go over the bar, or you go, oh, you know, don't listen to the crowd when they say shoot, get it down and play. When it goes in, it's like, oh, good decision. So I think we had 3 or 4 from outside the box that were the wrong decision. I think the gaffer talks massively about shooting when you're not off, when you're off balance. It's a no-no. I think if you watch the goal back, Jim's perfectly balanced, struck it sweetly, and yeah, it couldn't happen to a nicer lad.
The win has been dedicated to Vladimir, the Ukrainian spy right, and his family. That produced quite an emotional moment at the start of the game, didn't it?
Yeah, and I think if anyone's watching the news lately, you can't help but sort of feel sympathy for what's going on. And obviously it's sort of one of our own, probably going through it more than most of his contacts back in Ukraine. So yeah, our thoughts are with him and all the other people going through that terrible time at the moment.
Injury-wise, the team is still operating with a thin squad, but is there any good news today?
Not particularly, if I'm going to be honest with you. Gavin Gunning's getting closer. Got Curtis Weston back. Obviously, that's not an injury one. That was a suspension. Tom Denton hurt his ankle, so we're going to assess him today to see if he's going to be fit. It's what it is. Got to get on with it.
And how do you get through this with so many players out? You know, what is the key to sort of, because you've done it before this season. You've had runs where you've been significantly low on numbers due to injuries.
Yeah.
You got through it then. How do you get through it now?
I think you sort of. I think the benefit is we have been through it, so it's not new to the players or the dressing room or the fans. We've all been through it together. We've got an experienced manager who has probably been in this position before, although I think in his own words, not seen an injury list like that in his life. So he'll manage us the right way, I think, in this time. Listen, it's not, you know, there's times where it's not going to be particularly pretty, but like I always say, to win leagues or be successful, you've got to overcome so many hurdles. Did we imagine that Cabs would have his ankle done? No, we didn't. You know, no one ever knows those things are going to happen. And then, as I said the other day, they're not hurdles. They're like ginormous barriers to get over, and we've got to get over them. You know, we have to get over them, and then when we do, hopefully in the season, lift that trophy or we've got promotion, it will be even sweeter for what everyone's had to go through.
This is a vital game, isn't it, against Notts County? They're placing in the league and their games in hand make it so.
Yeah, I think we saw the other night the atmosphere when supporters feel that other end, you know, away fans. When our fans, I mean, they always turn out in their numbers, but I think there'll be probably 7,000 or 8,000 potentially again, which is brilliant. Local derby, there's load riding it, 2 good teams going head to head, and it's a massive game, you know, but it's no bigger than Saturday. Saturday was huge, you know, different type of pressure that they were coming here probably as underdogs. TV cameras were on us. We've had 2 defeats. How are we going to react? Yes, it wasn't a fantastic spectacle, like I say, but we got the 3 points, and we've got to make sure now that we've got to back that up Tuesday with a good performance as well as the result. How much is it about adapting when you've got so many players out? And look, ideally, you might want to play a certain way, but it kind of needs must. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's one of them where you have to find a way to win. On Saturday, we had some hairy moments from set pieces and potential penalty shouts, and you know, you have to ride those storms. Yes, you get a bit of luck sometimes, and to be successful, you've got to have that luck. So we're going to need it all tomorrow. We're going to need a little bit of luck. We've got to be on our game. We've got to defend well. We've got to attack well, because I don't think anything less will do. All the best with it, Danny. Good luck. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it, mate.
Good morning, Danny.
Hi, Liam. You all right?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Good, fine, thank you.
Good stuff. Is there any update on Jack McCourt's injury that he suffered the other week?
Yeah, they got the results back, and I think he's ruptured lots of stuff in there, you know, which is not good for the lads. So the gaffer's given him a little bit of time off just to gather his thoughts. Obviously, he was really flying, the lad. and he's a great lad. And obviously our faults with him, and it's like it seems to be a very common theme, saying your faults with injured lads and what they're going through. And sadly, it's another one. So that'll be a while. I don't know if it'll be a season job, but it'll certainly be a good few weeks yet.
Is that his? It looked like maybe his lower part of his leg, his ankle. Is that
yeah,
right?
it was another horrific tackle, but that's life, and I think it makes you a little bit more sad for the lad because it's no fault of his own. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes if lads sort of muscle injuries and that, and they think well, actually okay, that's something they've always had, or when it's out of your hands and you've received that sort of injury, it's a bit of a stomach churner. So it's a shame for him, it's a shame for us and the fans, because I think they were starting to see what Jack's capable of, and it's another one we wish well.
Did the club receive any feedback about that particular referee's performance? Was there any sort of comeback on that?
No, I think you might have asked me the same thing after Kingy's sending off at Stockport, and they're tough ones. I can only say so much in it, but they're tough ones. You have to sort of weigh up sometimes the what's the point of doing it? Will there be any retribution? It's done now. It's not gonna make Jack's ankle better. And my disappointment after Solihull was that it's 2 weeks running now that a tackle like that has gone unpunished. And as I said after Weymouth, if they sent the lad off at Weymouth, it doesn't make Cabs, it doesn't heal him. He's still going to be injured. It doesn't solve our problem of losing probably the best striker in the league. But what you don't want is people to think we'll go to Chesterfield, we'll 2-foot people and we'll get away with it. And that's the thing you get a little bit angry with. But like I say, it's done. We've got to get on with it. We've got to not only get over the speed bumps, but get over these unfair hurdles at time.
Do you think there should be more punishments, perhaps, for referees who potentially do make these kind of mistakes?
I don't know. Listen, we've had a lot of good referees this year, and it's a tough job. It's a tough job, and on the first one, all the supporters, when you get a bad decision go against you, your blood boils. It's natural, but it is a tough job. It's not my place to say should it be better, should it be worse. The officiating, all I would say is that the 2 tackles that have ended lads' seasons potentially have gone unpunished, and I don't think that's right.
Has Danny Rowe's situation changed at all in the last few months or so?
As I say, that's a real difficult one. It's a medical department. I think we're still waiting for certain people to get back to us, and there's lots of people to go through to get answers. So that is a tough one at the minute, Liam, to answer that properly.
No problem. A few fans are asking about Melvin Minter as well. Obviously, he's not been I think he wasn't in the squad the other week when Dylan Wharton was called up. Is there anything you can say about that?
Not really, no. We've got 3. Obviously, Lochi's the number 1, and then Dylan and Melvin are fighting for that place. We had the manager had the discussion the other day. I think in his career, he's always had a goalie on the bench, where the previous manager didn't do that. It's not a massive issue. I just think the manager thinks if your goalie gets injured early on or sent off, it's you're saying bye-bye to the game, really, by the result, and those 3 points could be massive, or at that point could be massive if you have to put an outfielder in goal. At the same time, if you do have 5 outfielders on the bench, it gives you that other option to change it up if you're chasing the game. The chances of a goalie getting injured or sent off, not sure how high they are, but yeah, that's simply a manager's decision to play another goalie and to put a goalie on the bench over someone else.
Is there an injury there for Melvin, or is he okay?
No, Melvin's fine. His training's been good. Dylan's been good. We've got 3 good goalies. At the minute, I think everyone will say Lochi's number 1, and rightly so, and the other 2 are going to have to battle it out.
And Nathan Tyson, what's his situation? Is he still on loan at Alfreton, or has he come back?
No, he's finished now, and he's back running today. So he could be an important part for us now, especially with all these players out.
So he'll sort of come back into the fold then, rather than potentially go back out on loan then?
Oh, I would think so. I think the gaffer said how he wants to come in. He still, wants to know this group, wants to give them a chance. Lads who haven't been in the frame as such, whether they're in the frame or not, you're in the frame now because we haven't got many players. So I certainly can't speak for the manager, but I would imagine that Nathan will be staying put.
And given the injury situation, could Stephen Payne be recalled, or do you think he'll stay out on loan for the rest of the season?
I'm not sure about what the deal was in terms of is there a callback, is there not a callback. I don't know the ins and outs of the agreement with Haven. Obviously, because the manager's situation here was the priority and very unclear at that time. But yeah, no, I know people have spoke about Stefan coming back, but I don't know the ins and outs of the loan deal. All we've got to make sure of is the players we have got at the minute. We just got to wrap them up in cotton wool and touch wood, get no more injuries.
Is the manager still looking to bring in 1 or 2 additions, maybe?
I think at the moment he said he just wants to focus on this particular group we've got. Doesn't help when you're picking up an injury per game, which is what it's been for large periods, and the numbers are just dwindling. We've taken the magnets of the injured players off the board now, because it's like most of them are such long termers. It just brings you down to look at it, So we've got to go put them in the drawer, sadly, and concentrate on what we've got. So I think the manager at the moment is really focusing on what we've got. Probably not ruling out any additions in time, but at the moment, especially going into tomorrow, will be as you were.
So on to Notts County then. What threats will they provide tomorrow night?
Good team, good coached very well. Big club, load of supporters. Pressure on them, like there's pressure on us when you're a big team who are followed excellently every week by supporters, home and away. It's a real, it's going to be a real humdinger. I think, like that Wrexham. Disappointed with the Wrexham one. We didn't get that goal in the first half, which would have changed the whole outlook. And the 2 goals we conceded, especially the first one, was disappointing. So we've got to make sure we're on our ball tomorrow. Defensively, especially, we can't give away any sloppy goals, because when teams go a goal up at home, it's hard, because it's hard to break teams down. Especially when you're the home team. So no, we've got to be on it. Without stating the obvious, we've got to be on it. They're a good footballing team. Whether the pitch and the conditions allow them to play the way they want to play, we'll see. But no, we're going to have to be on our game to get anything from it.
Do you think the atmosphere will make it a better game than it probably was on Saturday?
Maybe. I thought our fans were good Saturday. I think it was tough because it wasn't a particularly great watch, and as fantastic as our supporters are, sometimes we need to lift them. Do you know what I mean? So Jim's goal just before half-time did that. I always think going into that cop end second half is always great, because they're all trying to suck the ball in the goal for us. Sadly we didn't go 2 or 3, but 1-0 would certainly have, after about 20 minutes, you take a 1-0 all day long.